I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
We are VIMTV, Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. About 2 years ago, an artist named Lana Del Rey burst onto the music scene. And I think it started as kind of like this indie movement. And she had this, she came out with her solo album, Born to Die, which we reviewed and didn't like very much.
No. There were really good tracks.
Yeah, a couple tracks that, I still hear from time to time that I actually enjoy. But overall, the album listening experience of that record wasn't, I would say, a quality listening experience. Now, I would say this. She has continued to stay in the mainstream and be in the public eye since since that record came out, since she got a lot of fame. And I would say that, I think that it helps that she's been played on, pop music stations. Yeah. But also the fact that she had a major song in the movie from last year, The Great Gatsby. Oh, yeah. So, and really, if you think about The Great Gatsby, that, the roaring 20s era, John Steinbeck sort of world that movie and that book is all about, it kind of fits the image and the sound that Lana Del Rey is going for. She has this Hollywood noir sort of vibe to her music. It's very like like a 50s swanky club, and she's sipping on like some sort of like whiskey or some sort of really elegant drink. It's very neat. She does not have any ice in her glass. No. And and she has kind of, I think, also to couple that, what I think helps with her rise to stardom is her just really almost kind of a low voice for a female vocalist. Yeah, she has a unique voice.
It's very sultry.
Yeah, it is, and you can tell that she's been professionally trained as a vocalist. And while her music definitely is pop music. This is pop. You can't even call this indie anymore. It's just pop music. But at the same time, this is pop music that isn't really. It's not the pop music with that electronica dance vibe that is everywhere right now. This is pretty unique in the world of pop music. So you have to give her credit for at least trying that. Now, her second record, which we're going to review today for you, is called Ultraviolence. And I would say that this record, after her first album, we were really awaiting, like, what is she going to do next? She kind of got popular based on twisting the rules around into her favor of what pop music is and where it's going. So how is she going to take that to the next level? And Ultraviolence, I think, is the answer to that question. Yeah. Tom, did she raise the bar?
I think she did. This, to quote the movie Role Models, I'll come out and say, I think I like the idea of this album more than I actually like it.
You think John Steinbeck wrote a book called Role Models?
I don't think so. Okay. I'm jumping to a little more modern comedy era, but I really think that God damn it. I got you. You really did. This was an artist that when we reviewed Born to Die, I definitely put her on my watch list because I could tell there was a lot of talent. I just thought that she was using it to try to please people rather than make an artistic statement. And I feel like Ultraviolence is very much a step in the artistic statement direction. I love when artists that are really popular just scrap their sound that got them popular and do something different. And you absolutely cannot say that Lana Del Rey has not done that with this album. I mean, she's ditched a lot of the electronic sounds and the kind of dance themes that have been on her past work, and she's moving towards more of a full band sound. This full band recorded this album, is also produced by Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, and I think the production is great. Makes me wish that Dan Auerbach could produce the last 2 Black Keys records, just going to get that out of the way.
Or write his own record, not let Danger Mouse take it. That's a whole other subject.
Exactly. But here, I think it really works. And there are 2 factors, though, that you have to look at for a change like this, and it comes back to the simple factors of sound and songwriting quality. The sound has obviously made a dramatic shift, but not only the song quality does it have to be better, but it has to match that shift in sound. And I think that they're both a step in the right direction. It's not like she's 10 out of 10 yet. It's not like she's maxed out her potential in being able to do that. But I think in general, I think these songs are better written than what we heard on Born to Die. And I think they match with the kind of style that she's going for. I just feel like she has an ear for this kind of sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the statement that she's making with Ultraviolence is very clear from the first track, Cruel World, which you picked as a track favorite of yours. And the thing is that track came off to me as very much a rock and roll track. Dan's production tactic, I think he must have weighed in on like, hey, we should really just make a statement here, because there's really big guitars in that song, and that's something that I think just sets her in just a firm new direction, and it worked really well. I think she was able to have a good sound with that sort of composition. The album then proceeds into a number of tracks that are quite different than most of the pop music that I've heard. In specific, I want to call out Brooklyn Baby and West Coast. Both of these tracks are very strong tracks.
Incredibly strong.
I'd say West Coast, it's this cool, this darker, like this moving guitar line. All of these songs incorporate some level of string production, and this is what gives it that Hollywood noir sound, and it also keeps it kind of in that, the Beatles, George Martin, and all the strings that he infused in all the Beatles records. I mean, it's very much a part of that old kind of traditional rock sound, and that crossover between pop and rock that we're hearing on Ultraviolence is made very, very potent, I think, by the very tactful use of those strings.
Yeah.
And these strings never sound like MIDI synths. They always sound like an organic orchestra, and it really helps swell up and create a dynamic contrast to her choruses. And these choruses are pretty powerful at times, specifically on the front half of this record. Now, I will say, there's a couple tracks later on in this record. Money, Power, Glory, Pretty When You Cry is kind of in this vein, but I think Money, Power, Glory and track 9, Fucked My Way Up to the Top. Those two tracks in particular are remnants of Born to Die that won't die. And it's kind of ironic there.
Yeah.
But these tracks are just verse, chorus, and it's a very just repetitive chorus. There's not a lot that she's adding to the record with these songs, and quite frankly, I just thought that after the first listen, and I got over the fact that she's saying that she fucked her way to the top, after I got over that, I was like, oh, well, these songs really aren't that good. So, this is a 51-minute record, and the last two tracks, Old Money and The Other Woman, are, both fine tracks, are a bit more ballad-esque. She has the, telephone EQ vocals on the last track, but other than that, they're quite similar, and I just don't see why she put those together right at the end of the record, and we have a pretty long record anyways. I think she could have cut some of this down.
And I think you just nailed the one big problem plaguing this record, and it's pretty clear. I don't think that there's really much to debate over.
Disparity in track quality.
Exactly. Brooklyn Baby and West Coast, two of the best tracks I've heard all year, probably. I love them.
Yep.
If the entire album was that quality, I think this would be a clear upper 80s album, at least. They're just terrifically written songs.
World, track 1, Cruel World, through Sad Girl, track 6, they're all good.
Yeah, and then the back half just falls off. The songwriting quality is not quite as good. It gets a little bit more gimmicky. I understand her lyrics are a lot of kind of satire on modern culture, which I think works, being that she came out of a very, kind of pop realm, moving into her own niche, having kind of a throwback sound at the same time. So satirizing pop culture really works for her.
Yeah, it fits the music style.
But, the lyrics still can have nuances that work and nuances that don't, and like Money, Power, Glory, and Fuck My Way Up to the Top, I think are a little extreme and actually kind of undermine some of the message that she's going for.
Totally. Inconsistent messaging. Yeah. Plus, the songwriting's just not quite as good, which is inconsistent in quality.
It's just not. And you nailed it when you said the album's a little over 50 minutes to begin with. You could have trimmed it down quite a bit, and I think that it would have been a much more concise and dense listen.
If this were a 41, 42-minute record, it would have been just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make any sense why she kept this, and I think that there's even more tracks out there to this record.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel like this was a great step in the right direction. Definitely liked it more than Born to Die. But I'm still only at a 77, which is what I would say our Velocities of Music average is for all the records we review every year.
I'm going to give it a 79.
Okay.
I really liked it.
So that averages to 78 from us, which is a mark of a pretty good record. So we're definitely not saying don't listen to Ultraviolence. We're saying listen, but think of it with a critical mind and analyze the songs that you like and the songs that you don't. And what we're advocating and what we're big fans of here is the quality total listening experience. From the moment you put on Ultraviolence to the moment it ends, how does that listening experience affect you? Does it stay the same quality throughout? Let us know what your thoughts were at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. As always, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and let Tom or I know if you think his shirt makes him look like Sid from Toy Story.
I want to know.
Also, let us know if there's any records we could review for you. I'm Jay.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.